Building a family can be a complicated, messy, lonely, and sometimes heartbreaking process. But you don't have to navigate this challenging journey alone. Welcome to the All Paths podcast, where we support and celebrate all of the different ways there are to try to grow your family. We're your hosts, Emily and Lauren from the nonprofit organization All Paths Family Building. And today we're talking with Sarah about her journey. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
We're so excited to talk with you.
Yeah.
Before we get into your story, we'd love for you to just briefly introduce yourself to our listeners.
Yeah. So my name is Sarah, and I am a New Jersey native. I can never be too far away from a Broadway musical in New York. And yeah, I got married in 2023. My husband and I started trying for a baby almost right away. I'm extremely impatient. So 3 months in, I sent my OB a WTF message on my chart. And she said the words that I will forever be grateful for, that I hope more OBs adopt going forward, which is it can't hurt to get him tested. She did not say anything right about me, because truly getting your male partners tested is like one of the easiest things in the world. And I will forever be grateful that she said that, because we did his first semen analysis. Everything was low and abnormal. We were referred right to a fertility clinic, and there started our IVF journey.
Wow.
That's amazing. What a rock star OB too. We've heard horror stories of people who have gone through like years of IVF cycles, and then they finally get around to testing the male partner, and they're like, oh,
yes,
this is the issue. Yeah.
We brought her like donuts on our first OB appointment, and just said because truly what an incredible provider to go there first.
Yes.
When most of the time, you just place the blame on the woman, because why would you not place the blame on the woman? I say sarcastically. So truly just the best gift. And we are so grateful to her.
Yes, I want to hug her myself.
Yeah.
So you sort of already told us how things got started, but if you could kind of back up again and tell us about your journey to starting a family. It sounded like it all began with your OB, or not being patient enough and not willing to put yourself through, the hell of waiting a year just to see. But can you tell us more about that? So it all began there. Where did it go?
Yes. So literally, and something you should know too is I literally actually started documenting our trying to conceive journey on social media, on Instagram and TikTok, our very first month trying to conceive. So literally our whole journey from trying naturally to finding out we had male factor to doing IVF it's all documented on social media. So, and the Instagram and TikTok communities are so incredible, and we can absolutely discuss that later. But what ended up happening was we went to the fertility clinic, and his male factor was quote unquote deemed severe enough that we were able to skip over IUIs, because if you have been through this, sometimes insurance will make you do 3 IUIs just because, which is why would you put somebody through that if you know it's not going to work? But anyway, our situation was deemed severe enough that we were able to get pushed right to IVF. And I thought naively, because we were just male factor and I did all the tests and there was nothing quote unquote wrong with me, that we would have success right away. We ended up having to do 2 egg retrievals and 3 frozen embryo transfers to get to baby Mia, who is 8 months old today, sleeping in her bedroom. And I literally just look at her every day and say, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. How are you here?
Wow.
But literally going through those failed cycles and having to do another egg retrieval as a high achieving woman who everything else in the past, when I put effort into things and I work hard, you get the result. And when
Mhm.
you go through infertility, sometimes the universe says tough noogies. And that was
Right.
really, really hard to come to terms with of like, oh my God, we just went through all of this. We did our transfer. I took all my meds. Everything looked great on ultrasound and blood work and just nothing.
Right.
So frustrating.
Like, what do you
And
mean
we
I'm on the
lost an
bad?
embryo. Like,
Yeah,
what?
right.
Mhm.
S-
Yeah.
it was truly just like I have never been in such a dark place before because then you just feel like hopeless and helpless because it's like you got to put your whole patootie into it to make it work and then it doesn't work and then it's like how do you keep finding the will to keep like moving forward when you just experience all of these failures. And so for me, sharing on social media was so incredibly like cathartic and helpful because when you, even if you have like the most supportive friends and family in the entire world, which I'm so grateful, I have such an amazing support system. They don't understand the nuances of all of this. They
Right.
don't
Right.
understand how incredibly heavy and how much weight each step is, each blood work value, each lining check, each one little thing that's off can make or break the cycle. And they don't understand the heaviness of it. So it was so nice to have some support from people in the community. But yeah, that's like the bones of our story.
And can I just give you credit for documenting from day one? Because not many people in the community can do that, myself included. I wish I had had the strength to share in real time, but I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
And so I really have to give you a lot of credit for your bravery and your vulnerability in real time. Like that's what people are looking for on social media, is someone they can connect
Hmm.
with in the same place and not someone reflecting from the other side,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so that's like what a gift that is. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, of course. I will say when we did our third frozen embryo transfer, I totally posted on a delay because I'm like, I need to be able to
Mhm.
process whatever this is.
Yes.
No matter what it is. But still, like everything now is shared. So like, and I share
Right.
because I literally was somebody that as soon as we got the male factor diagnosis, I typed it into Instagram and TikTok. As soon as like I
Oh,
had a failed transfer cycle, I typed it into Instagram. And I just like so desperately wanted to like, what does it look like? Did they have success? Are they with their baby? Like, I wanted to
right.
see another human having the same experience that I was having because I know I'm not singular in this, but it's such a personal, vulnerable experience to go through. And so I totally understand that not everybody shares it, but like I do social media for a living. And so it came very naturally to me. And like I still like it could bring me to tears like every day. I'll have people message me and be like, oh my God, like I found you from like your failed transfer video and like I just clicked on your profile and I see you with your baby. Like, thank you for sharing that. And like I get it because that was me. Like that was I was so
Right.
desperately looking for that.
And it's so helpful because it humanizes a process that is so medicalized. And you can get the medical information and you're getting the logistics from your clinic and you can understand on like an academic level, okay, these are the steps that need to happen. But
Hmm.
so much of the human connection is missing for people when they're going
Right.
through this process. So being able to see a human and all the messy emotions and everything that goes into it outside of the medical piece, and having them validate the feelings that you might be feeling but not talking about is so valuable.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. 1,000%. And like I do subject myself to a little bit of hate because I do share things that a lot of people are afraid to say out loud. Like one of the beliefs that I have is that people who go through IVF and they have one egg retrieval and one transfer and they have a live birth, it is such a different experience from those who go through IVF and have losses or have six egg retrievals or have failed. It's a different experience. I never say it to be like, my pain is worse than your pain. But like nobody was
Right.
saying that out loud when I was going through it. And so I
Right.
was like, is there something wrong with me? Am I a horrible person for like going to my transfer day and being like, this is not beautiful and magical at all, like I see on TikTok. It's not beautiful and
Right.
magical. I feel jaded. I've done this before. It didn't work. I paid for the acupuncture add-on. It didn't work. It's not like I felt like, is there something wrong with me? And so I
Right.
started saying those things out loud, and like the majority of the people who watch that content, they're like, thank you for saying that out loud. But then I'll get the people who did have that very cookie cutter streamline experience being like, how dare you invalidate my experience? But it's like, you know what? It's okay to open up the conversation and the dialogue that these experiences are different, even though we're all in the same community. And
Right.
like you're not wrong or bad for feeling these things that are like a little taboo to say out loud.
Completely
Mhm.
agree.
And that's one of the reasons why I feel like for so long, the cultural assumption was like, oh, just do IVF. And it
Yes.
was
Uh,
seen as this like quick, okay, that stinks. You have to go through these extra steps, but just do IVF and you'll have a kid. Because the only stories that were being told were the ones where it was, people who all the, luck to them that to anybody
right.
listening that,
Right.
you do have that streamlined of a process. But you need to recognize, and we need to recognize socially, culturally, that that is a potential way that an IVF journey will turn out, but that is not the only way.
Most people don't have the slam dunk, right? And I
No.
say this to friends and people in the community who are starting the process. I hope you're a green light IVF patient. That's what I call it.
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
I
Okay.
don't know if you've heard
Maybe
that
I'll start
term. It's
using
like
that.
life is smooth, not a lot of drama along the way. Things just seem to hit green lights in their life, not a lot of setbacks. And for IVF or family building, there are people on that track, and I'm so happy for them. However, they're in the minority. And like you said,
Mhm.
we have to talk about that, and we're not trying to be the comparative suffering police and try to pit people against each other, right? But we have to recognize that this is really hard for anyone. But if you're not a green light IVF person, you're not having success on one cycle and one transfer, this is significantly worse. This is a compounding effect of grief and loss. And you talked about also that the energy it takes to try again is also not understood. Like to get back on the horse or like start to climb that roller coaster of hope again when you've been in the depths of grief. That's not something that you have to do if you've been successful with one cycle as much.
Oh my gosh, so true. I left Mia's embryo transfer, so that was my third embryo transfer, and I was pissed. I got in the car with my husband and I was angry, and he's like, "What is the matter?" And I'm like, "I'm just so like this isn't good. It hasn't worked before. Why is this going to work?" And like we just did all that, and I put my body through all these hormones, and we paid for the acupuncture add-on, and like and in the grand scheme of life, like does paying for the acupuncture add-on matter? No, but in that moment, I'm like everything is like compounding, and I'm like, I'm pissed. I am pissed. This is not a magical day. I'm not, you know, like ooh la la, rainbows and sparkles and sunshine. Like I am pissed. And the day after Mia's embryo transfer, I made a consultation to switch clinics. And I think everybody dreams of being able to send this message, but I got to message them and be like, hey, I'm actually pregnant. So I'm gonna cancel this for now. And they're like, no, we love getting those messages. I didn't think I was gonna be able to send that message because we had only had fails in the past. And so it's like, it just goes to show how incredibly jaded and hopeless and helpless you get. And the thing is, like, I wasn't seeing people talk about that on social media. Just like I don't know. Like my cousin went through IVF, but she went through IVF because they're a same-sex couple. And so it's like yes, I could talk to her, like you said, about like the logistics of like, oh, this is what you're gonna take during your egg retrieval, and this is what you're gonna take, but like I was watching people in my position and I was seeing them have those slam dunks, green lights. And I wasn't seeing the fact that, like, hey, it is like pretty normal for it not to work the first time, like, doesn't mean that anything is horribly wrong.
Hmm.
But because I wasn't seeing any of that, I automatically went, oh, something's horribly wrong. Oh, we're never going to be able to have a baby. Oh, this thing that is like the utmost support you could possibly get medically is not working for us. We're done. That's where my brain went. And so that is why I'm so dedicated to opening a dialogue about the different experiences and then showing that, like, hey, the baby's here. Even though sometimes unfortunately that's not how everybody's journey ends, but like I can only share my journey, and my journey was that it was very zigzaggy, very green light, red light, stop light, yield, whatever, not smooth. And we did ultimately end up with what we were working for, but I'm so dedicated to speaking about like what it took to get there
Hmm.
because again, I think so many women need to hear like, hey, it's actually like really common for that to happen.
Right. And there's that statistic, I think, that I wish I had known when I started my journey, but it's like you don't get to the 90 percentile of live birth until a third frozen embryo transfer.
Right.
But nobody tells you that. And
No.
so you feel like, oh, like you said, this is going to be a slam dunk. We've solved for male factor, which is also my personal experience. And now these two embryos you made are going to be your two children.
Mm-hmm.
No, not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like you do feel like a failure, and then you completely lose trust in the process. And now you're just trying to reconcile with, what do you mean I'm on the bad side of statistics? I've done everything I can. I've followed all the rules. I've been so, good. I've done all the extra
Yeah.
things. And the answer is still no. And what do you do with that feedback?
Yeah, it's so you really have to want it because and I'm like I was relentless with it. I'm like I would literally repeat to myself like I am not leaving this season of life without my baby. I'm not leaving this
Wow.
season of life without my baby. But like whatever that looked like, my husband and I, total transparency, like talked about adoption. I'm like, I'm not somebody that will feel fulfilled in this life without a child. Like I am meant to be a mommy. Like and I am. Like it is truly like I am like the best version of myself in this role. Like I literally I wake up every day and I tell my husband I'm like I feel like it's Christmas morning. Like I get to go into my to her room and like get her and it's like, "Oh my God, there's a whole baby in that crib." Like that's so wild to me. But another thing I would love to talk about is like we did that second egg retrieval because our family goal was two kids and we had gotten four PGT embryos that first egg retrieval, and then we had the two failures. And so my doctor was like, hey, like, I'm going to be totally transparent with you. That's probably not going to get you to your family goal of two kids. Your insurance allows embryo banking. So, like, why don't we get these
Wow.
30-year-old eggs? And I'm like, let's do it.
Okay, so can you back us up, like
Yeah.
on the chronology of it all, if you don't
Yeah.
mind? So you do your first egg retrieval. Are you full of hope? Are you fired up?
Oh my gosh,
How was that process?
I was so full of hope. I was like excited for the egg
Yeah.
retrieval. Like I have PCOS now called PMOS. Like I had so many follicles.
Mhm.
And when I woke up from anesthesia, they had said that we got 10 eggs. And now I want to be so careful with this. I know some people literally are so happy with one egg,
True.
but my expectation based on what we were seeing on the ultrasound was, oh my gosh, eggs galore. And so when I heard
Mhm.
10, and I know about the fall off or the attrition that happens, I'm like, oh my God, how did this happen? And I just
Right.
I was crying, 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 crying
Right.
under all the anesthesia, crying,
Yes.
crying, crying. And I think I knew that that meant that we would potentially have to do another one and that as soon as you wake up from anesthesia from one procedure, knowing like, hey, you're probably gonna have to do this again is like a lot. So yeah, but I was very excited going into my first egg retrieval, and I was so excited going into my first transfer. I told everybody about our first transfer. Oh my God, I told the mailman down the street, we told our neighbors, which
Oh,
is so different from Mia's transfer where we literally told no one, not even our parents. Nobody knew except for
wow.
my husband and I, because I
Wow.
could not bear to have to open up that
Yes.
conversation with every single person. Um,
So you did two transfers after the first egg retrieval, or when did you do the second banking?
yes, good question. So we did first egg retrieval, and then we did two transfers. And then after those transfers failed, we did another egg retrieval.
Okay.
We had such amazing results with that second egg retrieval. Like, I'm so grateful. And then we did the third transfer, which resulted in Mia.
Okay. And this was over the span of like a year, all of
This
this?
was like 2023 to 2025.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like lickety split,
Right.
even though I wanted it to be.
Yes.
I was like, come on, let's go. And like so like also in between there, like I had a hysteroscopy to clear my everything out, and the endometrial biopsy, and we treated for endometritis, which is different from endometriosis for anybody listening. It's just like inflammation.
Right.
So like just all those little things. And I was just like so exhausted.
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
so done. It took up my whole life. My whole life. And so again, like I did not have any hope for Mia's transfer. And so when I took a pregnancy test at 4 days past transfer because I'm cuckoo bananas. I couldn't help myself, but it did. She must have implanted at like the very first second that she could because
Wow.
yeah, I got And that was the first time I had ever tested positive on a pregnancy test. Don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful that I have never been through, knock on wood, like lost, miscarriage, anything like that. But I had never seen a positive pregnancy test in this whole experience. And so I'll never forget that day.
Mhm.
But yeah, we did the two egg retrievals to get to the family goal of two kids. And now I could totally change my mind, but now on the other side of it, I'm like, I cannot imagine going through that again.
Mhm.
I had such a traumatic pregnancy. We, for me, at our 12-week ultrasound, they do something called the nuchal translucency scan, which measures like the back of their neck, which can be like markers for some genetic abnormalities. It measured above the normal range. Our MFM had such horrible bedside manner and literally made it seem
Oh
like the worst
no.
case scenario.
Oh
That's
no.
not great. You
No.
would think in that role you'd be a little bit more adept to
Right?
Yeah,
Oh
usually
my
usually
come
they're
on,
better about that
dude.
than
situations.
OBs.
Yeah.
Your
Oh,
literal career is dealing with pregnant women. Like
like high
you gotta
risk
High
fix
pregnant women.
that.
You
risk pregnant
gotta,
women. Yeah,
yeah.
usually they're more on the like span of a good RE.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So anyway, like
Oh,
that was the whole thing. And then we were
I'm
very
sorry.
closely monitored the whole pregnancy. We had like a 16-week early anatomy scan, 8-week scan. I was just so scared the whole pregnancy. We found an elective ultrasound boutique and we went there like every week or every other week until I could feel her move. It was just
Mhm.
I went to OB triage probably like 3 or 4 times because like she wasn't moving enough and I was scared. Like it was just, I
Mhm.
can't imagine voluntarily putting myself through that again. Again, in 4 or 5 years, could I be like, oh my God, I could totally do that again? Maybe. I'm not
Right.
totally writing it
Right.
off, but it's
Right.
just so wild that like we were so set on this family goal of two kids. That's why we did the other egg retrieval. And now it's like, I don't know. Like we might be one and done. And I love like people spell it like WON, like you won a trophy.
I love that.
which like I so feel like I did. Oh my God, like what a miracle. But I don't know. And that's another thing that I've started talking about on social media because I think that that's another thing that people feel like is so taboo they can't talk about it if they have embryos
Mm,
left, like
mm,
you should use them or and so I want to validate that like hey, we're human. Our we can change our mind, our plans can change.
right.
But it is something that like I think about all the time and it's just like I don't know. Like the journey was so hard. I've never been through anything so hard in my life. So I don't know that I can voluntarily put myself through it again.
And
And
that's
that's
fair.
okay.
And that's taking good care of yourself and your
Yeah.
Hmm.
family.
Yeah.
And you talked about, okay, you finally see that positive pregnancy test. You've been through so many ups and downs and difficulties on the journey to that positive. And now you're white knuckling through a difficult pregnancy, which is going to be difficult no matter what because it's after
Right.
infertility. So
Mm-hmm.
there's so much anxiety baseline, but then you get, and if I'm telling you something might be terribly wrong,
Right.
and it just adds more stress to the pregnancy, which is way too long when you're this anxious and have been through so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I was terrified. Probably like in somewhere in the 20s, like the 20th week. Where I was seeing a therapist my whole journey. And I was like, I'm so scared for childbirth. I said, our whole journey to getting her here was hard, complicated, and unpredictable. I don't want her birth to be hard, complicated, and unpredictable. And so with my therapist, we literally drafted a message to my care team and we did an elective C-section,
Mhm.
which is another thing that I talk about, because that decision was so incredible. It was so positive. I know not everybody has that experience with C-sections, but the fact that I could control that, it was scheduled, it was planned. We turned on the Hamilton, the musical soundtrack. I
Oh,
got to just
amazing.
be like, yes, I got to
In
just
the
be like, you know
zone.
what? Yep, this is when it's happening and the doctors have got me and they've got her and it's not going to be something that drags on like the rest of our journey and we're just going to make it happen. It truly was. I would choose it a million times over. It was so incredible. But yeah, it's like literally every part of the journey was hard, long, unpredictable. I'm like if we could make this part the opposite of that, like what a gift that will be.
And it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that's at the core of fertility treatment is all of your control is gone.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you can do everything quote unquote right, and you still have no control over the outcome. So
Right.
to be able to make some choices and to exert some sort of control and autonomy over your care is huge. Whether that's,
Yes.
in your case, a scheduled C-section or anywhere along the process, anywhere that you can make decisions for yourself and for your care is going to do wonders for your mental health.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And my doctor was like, here are the risks. We
Mhm.
love bodily autonomy. Like, if this is what you want to do, let's do it.
I got to
Yeah.
ask, what song did she make her entrance to?
The room where it happens,
Stop.
Damn,
That
nicely
couldn't be more
done. All right,
perfect.
that's amazing.
right? I
Love
can't,
it.
I couldn't have planned it better myself. I couldn't have.
Wow.
Spectacular.
Yes, yes,
5 stars. 5 stars.
yes. Just incredible. And that's what we listen to now
Oh my
anyway, instead of
God.
like nursery
Oh,
rhymes. We put on like
Yes.
Hamilton, Mean Girls, Six the musical. It's amazing. Um, but yeah, no, it was so nice to be able to have control over that part of our journey for sure.
Well, it sounds like you felt empowered by your care team, so you could take some of
Hmm.
your own power back.
yeah.
And that is so crucial because there's nothing empowering about the fertility journey. It just is.
No. But you know what? It taught me how to be a relentless advocate for myself. because I am very much a
Yes.
people pleaser. Like if I got the wrong meal at a restaurant, I would be like, "Oh my God, I love it. Thank you so much." Like I have a really hard time advocating for myself, but like when you go through fertility treatments, that's the first time where it's like it's not just about you, it's like about your future baby. And so like
Mhm.
pregnancy, it's not just about you, it's about your baby. And so like I I really got to, it taught me such an incredible lesson about just being an advocate for yourself, and that by advocating for yourself, it doesn't mean that like you're a mean person or a bad person, or you're doing what you need to do for the health of you and your baby. And so yeah, it definitely it taught me a lot about advocating.
Absolutely.
How has that continued into now parenting after infertility? I know you've talked about this a little bit on your socials, but what
Mhm.
has that experience been like so far?
Yeah, so you know what? Like a really tangible example of that is like Mia, like I knew that like the right side of her head was flat. And like my pediatrician was like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm like, "Well, can we get an evaluation for physical therapy?" I'm a former speech therapist, so I'm all for like early intervention, like and like what's the
Mhm.
worst that can happen? Like my child gets extra supports, like amazing. So we
Right.
went to the physical
Right.
therapist and they were like, you know what? It is measuring like in the moderate range. Like let's go for like an actual evaluation. Her head was asymmetrical enough that she needed a
Wow.
helmet. And I feel like Sarah before
Wow.
then would have just like listened to the pediatrician and been like, okay, it's fine. Like I guess maybe I'm not seeing, but like no, it's like I see this. What is the worst that could happen is they tell us like, no, like we also agree like it looks fine.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm just like I'm not gonna like fail myself or my child so like somebody else could be comfortable.
Wow. I love that.
Yes. And so it's really carried into like all areas of my life.
Yeah. It's interesting how the tools we never intended to pick up to survive a journey to parenthood can actually serve very well in parenthood. And that's, of course, there's so much gratitude if you make it to the other side with a child, but it can feel strange to feel grateful for your now full tool belt of skills
Yeah.
that was actually really painful to collect, and yet it is serving you. There's so much, both and about it.
Totally. And that's the other huge lesson that I always talk about to people that infertility has taught me is duality.
Yes.
Like just because my personal life was hot mess express, like didn't mean that like my business, for example, couldn't be like fun and thriving and successful, or that like things with my husband weren't like, great and fun. And so duality is definitely something else that I have picked up and put into my tool belt. I didn't love how I had to find it, but
Yes.
yes, I do certainly. That is another huge lesson that infertility has brought me. And I always say too, like I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm like grateful that we had to do another egg retrieval because Mia is from that second egg retrieval.
Oh, no way.
Wow.
Yes, our first egg retrieval, we got four boys.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a boy mom. And so we did our first two transfers were boys. And then we had, the second egg retrieval and we got like an even split. So
Oh,
I said to my
wow.
husband, I'm like, we're gonna try a girly this time.
Shake it up.
Right? And like if we didn't do that second egg retrieval, we would never have Mia. And like, oh my God, she's just the most delicious, beautiful, joyful little girl. And so again, like, am I happy that we had to go through everything that we went through? No, but like, look what it brought us.
Right. And I know you talk about survivor's guilt on your page as well, but how important it is to show the success, with the caveats of being grateful and making space for people that aren't there yet. You do such a good job of that.
Oh,
But,
thank
but
you.
it is important to, like you were looking for, light at the end of the tunnel when you were in the middle of it and then thick of it. It is helpful to see the success stories, but some people do have a hard time with that and are triggered by it. Like,
Hmm.
how do you balance that, or how are you landing with survivor guilt right now?
Yeah, I have really bad survivor's guilt. Like literally I will watch like one of my IVF friends' videos and be like, should I text her to become a surrogate? Like I literally that is like how deeply I I feel like the pain and love for these people. Like I just want to like pull them to the other side with me because like the way that I describe infertility is like it feels like you are stuck in quicksand, right? Like you're literally watching everybody else be able to like move on and you are just like stuck in that one place. And I so want to pull them out of the quicksand. I hope I do a good job of like showing the present while also acknowledging like how infertility is impacting my journey as a mom. For example, like I
Right.
can't put Mia down for any kind of sleep without her wearing the owlet sock, which if anybody listening doesn't know, it's literally a pulse ox monitor. Like I because I'm now programmed for like the other shoe's gonna drop.
Yes.
It so heavily impacts my journey as a mom. I mean, this is kind of like more of a universal thing, but like the first time she tried peanut butter, like we went and sat in the hospital parking lot for the first two exposures. And like, because I'm just so afraid, right?
Relatable.
Like, you work so hard to get this baby, and you just like, now it's like, oh my God, I cannot let anything happen to them.
Yes.
So, but the reason that I show Mia on social media, which I know that that is a big, big topic, right? About showing your kids on social media. I show Mia on social media because Sarah from 3, 4 years ago needed to see somebody that went through infertility with their baby. And so that's what I needed to see. And so that's what I'm going to give back to the community. My husband and I can always reevaluate how we're sharing her.
Right.
But right now, in the way that I'm sharing her with the community that I have, like I feel so good about it. And it does. Like it really helps people see the tangible of like, okay, I can see it. I can hold it in my hand. I could see the real picture of it. And that's exactly why I share what I do.
Yeah. And but like you said, it's for you. If you feel good about it, that's really the most important thing, and you are helping
Yeah.
so many others in the community, but you have to feel good about what you're doing and how it's
Right.
helping you process your own experience.
Yes, yes.
So I'm curious, and I'd be interested to know just kind of based on that. Did you start sharing your journey? Was it originally for you? Was this a way to kind of process out loud almost, or was this started with the goal to find people and get support? Like, has it evolved over time, or
Oh
is
my
it
gosh,
still
yeah.
kind
It
of
was 1,000% to like get support and connect with people that were in the same
okay?
season. And like if you scroll all the way back on my TikTok, it was literally just like me and my pre-mom app, like trying naturally, like so excited that like I got my first positive LH strip. I didn't know that we were gonna have to go through infertility. I thought I was gonna be like the girl that like okay, I got a positive LH strip. And then, like, the next video that you're going to see is like the positive pregnancy test at 9 days post ovulation. Like, that's going to be my page. And that was not my page. I don't know what, it's so funny. Like, obviously, I needed to start sharing, but I think, like, originally, like, what compelled me was just like, I want to connect with other women that are in the trying to conceive season of life. Like, I want to be able to connect with each other and share what we're going through and celebrate together. And I didn't realize it was going to turn into like this incredible community that literally pulled me through years of my life that I'm like now friends with in person. Like last week, we literally like went over and had coffee with one of the people in my social media community. Like it's
Wow.
just the most wonderful humans ever. And we're all, yeah, we are going through a not so great situation. And so, it
Mhm.
just brings
Right.
everybody closer together. We're all rallying for each other. It's just, we all just so desperately want to help each other. And so I'm so glad that that version of me decided to share her positive ovulation test and like it
Right.
brought me the most incredible community.
That's
That's
amazing.
amazing. Trauma bonds are strong.
Yes, trauma bonds are strong. But we
Yeah.
know, I think we know like intellectually how important community is. We hear it all the time, community, community, community. But you don't really know the value of community until you need it in your
Mm-hmm.
darkest moments. And that's where this family building community shines, is because there's just nothing like other people who get it. As different as our stories and journeys can be, the common thread is so strong and so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And it has just like kind of put other things in my life in perspective, which I think so many people probably experience too, of like the things that I used to stress about or get angry or annoyed about. I'm like, oh my God, that literally doesn't matter. It's so not a big deal. It's so not a big
Right.
deal.
Right.
Like it just puts things what is important in perspective.
Yes.
Mhm.
There's really nothing you can't handle after you've handled a journey
Right.
like this, right?
Oh my God, yeah. No, literally, literally.
And can I ask about your relationships? Did your journey, change relationships with friends, family, anyone else in your life for the better or worse? Because we hear that a lot too.
Yeah. So, my relationship with my husband actually stayed like really strong, which I think a lot of people don't experience. The only like thing that I experienced was because we were going through male factor and it wasn't necessarily anything concretely wrong with my body. I was like, oh, so I have to go through the medications and the surgeries and because of something that's wrong with you. So I definitely did
Mhm.
have like a little resentment at the beginning, but like our relationship definitely stayed very strong. Now, with my friends, I isolated a ton. I isolated a ton. I lost friendships because they didn't understand that like I couldn't be there for their pregnancy and their baby shower. I couldn't go to baby showers. I didn't go to my cousin's baby shower. I didn't go to my good friend's baby shower. And like my cousin understood and my other friend did not. And unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I
Mhm.
did a lot of isolating from friends and I don't say this to sound like an a-hole, but like I don't necessarily feel bad about it because like I quite literally didn't have the bandwidth for anything else aside from like you need to work and run your business. You need to like make sure you go in the shower and brush your teeth.
Mhm.
You need to like let's maybe like have dinner like for you and your husband and then like let's try and get through another day. Like
Right.
that's what I had
Yeah.
the bandwidth for and my three very best friends did not bat an eye. They totally understood. Our friendship now is like, it's exactly where it was before infertility. And
Mhm.
like, how incredibly lucky am I that I have friends like that? Because some people would be like, F you. I'm
Right.
not sticking it, right? Like, I'm not sticking out this friendship. You poured nothing into it. I'm not sticking around. So, yeah, definitely did lots of isolating from friends.
Which is interesting. So did they follow you on socials?
Yeah, they did.
You're isolating in person, but sharing all of this online. Do you think
Yeah.
that helped some of those friendships like understand like, okay,
Yes.
this is the internal processing that we're not seeing anymore in like our conversations or texts or anything. So they could kind of have
Oh my
a
God,
better
they tell me all
understanding.
the time. They're like, we felt in the loop and we knew you were, you were alive that day. You're okay. But we saw it on social. We felt updated. They totally understood.
Did you have feelings about people following you but not reaching out in real life? People that know you in real life, kind of following your journey, but not. taking that extra step to check in with you? Like, does that feel violating or disappointing, or were you able to let that ride?
Honestly, no, I did not want anybody to reach out to me at that point because
Okay.
I was like, I do not have the bandwidth to talk to you.
Okay.
I d- I do have people now, like people I went to college with and stuff that have found my socials and like they message me. Like I'm such a resource for them now, and I'm so happy
Oh,
to talk to
wow.
them.
Oh, that's
They're like, "Oh my
great.
God, I found your video from like your modified natural cycle protocol," and like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to talk to them now. But like I no, I was totally fine with people not reaching out to me because again, it's like then that's just another person that like I felt like obligation to update.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hmm.
here's the thing, when you're sharing on social media, you can share, you can get your thoughts out, and then it's done. Like it's not like
Yeah.
this drawn out back and forth
Right.
conversation. You say it one time. But it's
Yes.
like when you have all of these other relationships that are privy to every single step of the journey, it's like you feel like you have, or I felt like I had to reach out to every single one of them individually and update them. And I was just like, that is exhausting. I can't do
Too.
that. Like, even with like my mom, I would get like my mom, my dad, and my aunt on FaceTime at the same time. I would try, like, when there was an update to give. That way, I only had to say it one time because it was just so, like, that was such an exhausting part of the journey for me. Because also, like, the updates were not good or fun,
Right.
Hmm.
So it was just like the less people I have to update about this, the better.
Yeah.
Well, and also then you have control over the conversation. You don't know how people are going to
Hmm.
react.
Hmm.
So, I mean,
Right.
most times you can assume how people are going to react, but you don't have to deal with said reaction if you're just like, I'm posting this and walking away versus having
Right.
15 conversations where you share the same bad news and then have to manage those people's emotions on top of your own. You're pulling back control of the narrative and how that story is shared and, how you are able to process information in a way that feels good to you. So that's huge.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And even on social media, like if I didn't have bandwidth to respond to comments, it was like, it's fine. Like
Right.
nobody is sitting there with bated breath, but it was cathartic for me because I needed some way to get them out of my brain and living somewhere else
Yeah.
Hmm.
without having to have a million different parties of people to need to update. And then you're right, manage their emotions because what do people do when you share news that's not so great? It's like they try and offer a solution because they're probably a kind human, and that's like our first instinct is like, how do I solve
Hmm.
this? Or like, how do I make it better? And it's like the
Right.
truth is there's nothing like it just is. And then you have to just accept that news and what is the next step you're taking? What are we doing? What are we changing next time? What is the next phase in the process? And you have to just like move forward with it. So yeah, I was totally fine with not having to update a ton of people.
Love it. So that actually relates to one of the questions that we like to ask everybody. How can someone show up for a friend or family member when they're struggling to build their family?
Mm, so I think just a text of like, I know this is really hard. Like, how can I best show up for you is one. And then also just like taking initiative and like maybe doing something for them. Whether doing something means like, I'm going to give you intentional space because I know that you don't have the bandwidth. Or maybe it's like you just went through a failed transfer and like, I'm dropping off donuts to your house because like you need a sweet treat. Like,
Hmm.
whatever, again, like, however you can put the ball in their court
Mm.
of like I always so appreciated my best friend would always text me like I don't know what to say or like what you need, but like I am here for you, even if it is just like that I'm not going anywhere.
That's perfect.
And that's all I needed.
Great.
I didn't need anything from her.
You just need to know she loves you, right?
Yep,
That she was thinking of
exactly.
you. Yes.
Exactly. And then like any pregnancy announcements, I always appreciated like if I was close to them, like a text first before I saw it on social media. That way I could process. But yeah, other than that, I think it's really just like letting the person know like I'm here. Like I'm not going anywhere even if like the thing that you need is space, like that's perfect.
Right. And the other question we like to ask is, what's one thing you would say to someone who's just starting to grow their family?
Mm. Throw away the timelines that you have. I know that's not like, oh my God, it's going to be the most beautiful thing in the world, because it is the most beautiful thing in the world. But I wish, because I had so many ambiguous timelines. Oh, by September, that was my first one. Oh, then definitely by Christmas. Oh, then by throw away the timelines, because you just never know. And if you set all these ambiguous timelines for yourself, then it's like you putting this pressure on yourself for it
Right.
to like happen by a certain time. And when it doesn't, it's like, oh, that kind of feels crappy. So just
Mhm.
like throw away the timelines and, don't be afraid to advocate for yourself. If you don't want to wait for the 1 year mark, if you feel like things are not happening as they should, don't wait for the 1 year mark.
Right. Get your partner tested right away.
Yes, get your male partners tested. Oh my God, please. It takes 2 seconds and it's one of the most insightful tests you can possibly get. It takes two to tango.
Absolutely.
They're even at-home versions now. Like there's literally no
Mhm.
excuse to not get
No
all
excuse.
baseline information on anybody involved in the process. It shouldn't
Hmm.
just all rest on one person's
Yes.
shoulders.
Yes, preach.
Sarah, is there anything else you'd like to share with us that we haven't asked about?
No, no, just if anybody listens and they connect or resonate with any part of my journey, like please find me on social media. I'm at Sarah and Babes on TikTok and Instagram. I'm like my DMs are always open. Even if I'm the only one that you've told so far that you're going through this, your secret is safe with me. Like I'm just so happy to connect with anyone in the community, and you are never, never alone. This is not a singular experience.
Wonderful.
That's
And
so
we'll be sure
lovely.
to put those in the episode description.
Awesome.
Sarah, it was so nice to talk with you. Thank you so much for sharing all about your story, and for the work that you're doing is amazing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank you so, so, so much for having me.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week with more family building stories and resources. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so that you never miss an episode. And follow us on social media at allpathsfb, or visit our website, allpathsfb.org, to learn more about our work. And please help spread the word so that anyone who is struggling to grow their family can join the conversation. All Paths Family Building is so grateful to the members of our circle of support. And today we want to recognize and thank Gold sponsor, Mass General Brigham. Your partnership is vital to our ability to provide emotional support, education, and advocacy that is open to anyone who is struggling to grow their family. And to the entire All Paths community, thank you for being here. It's an honor to walk with you on your journey.